I like their picks. Looks like a good, strong team.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and today we will be casting for the University of Pikeville's scrims. These will just be regular queued up 5v5s, and my name is Zal, and I will be taking over the play-by-plays for the most part, so bear with us. This is our first try, and wish us luck, and here we go.
My name is Perineum, and I'll be doing some commentating too.
Okay, so looking into this game, we will have UPIKE on the purple side here. We have Backtraced in the top lane playing San, Corey 1 playing Caitlyn as her AD carry, Mash playing Lysandra, and then Suspenseful playing Vi in the jungle, and then Poon Prodigy playing Alistar as support. Then blue side we have Singed top, Rek'Sai jungle, Leona support, Ezreal mid, and Lucian ADC. So, Premium, just looking at this, what do you think about the team comps overall?
They look pretty good. Both your tanky top lane, tanky jungle, sort of, but Vi has that AD output too, so she would be pretty good. You got that Leona tank, that Alistar tank. I noticed that the Ez and Lysandra matchup is going to be pretty well. I think Lysandra's going to do better though, because just her late game AP base damage is just incredible. AP Ez though is very, you got to watch that. You know, you got to be aware of his ult for drag steals, Baron steals, you know. People being low health, you just got to be aware of it going on. Watch his surroundings and everything. I think it's going to be a good team matchup though. It could be a good game.
I think so as well. And another thing that we need to point out is that UPIKE is running the ever popular that you see in LCS, the Lysandra Vi combo. You just point, click, and blow someone up, and then they're useless for the rest of that scrim.
Yeah.
So
the problem is they have those two 80 carries, you know, but except one can be played as AP. As you know, he's got that AP damage with his W, and his ult can put out a ton of AP damage. Then you have that Lucian. I mean, either way, you got it. You know, the focus is going to be hard. Just depends on who does better in lane.
I think that the top lane will be mostly passive with the Singed and Asan.
I agree.
We will see, but
I feel like it's just going to be a farming match for the whole game.
Yes. Well, looking at the blue side though, the majority of their initiate will be tied into the Leona, and then maybe the Flash Rek'Sai ults, or not necessarily ults, but Flash Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I
burrows.
think they're going to try to focus more on their front line with the 3 tanks there. I feel like they're going to probably go Rek'Sai more tank than they would. It would probably be best to do a little, you know, AD, but you know, throw some tank in there, because they have high AP damage and high AD damage with Lucian and Ezreal. You know, Lucian's got that early game potential to be just outstanding. You know, he does that damage early game if you know how to play him correctly. Leona's got that early game tank, you know, but Alistar the same way, and Caitlyn the same way. Her range is incredible. She can attack from so far away, and with her passive, it's going to be a good lane, bot lane. It's just going to be a good fight.
Have pretty much the classical battle of the bullies. See.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how this folds out. Okay. So it looks like San may be starting for the infamous Wraith Star, or, well, I guess they're technically Razor Beaks now, going for that early level 2, sacrificing himself onto that. So that will lead to a pretty decent advantage in top lane, so he'll be able to throw those shouts.
Yeah.
So.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
But then again, you keep on mentioning how the Ezreal, how honestly looking from the build that it will be an AP Ezreal with some points of utility, so he might be a little more squishy. But those true shot barrages will be hitting for quite a lot of damage. So.
Yeah. She's got to be aware of the map awareness, you know, when he casts it and everything, you know, because if with Lucian and Leona, they have that potential engage with Leona's E, her Q, all her CC. You know, Alistar, he's got headbutt and pulverize, but he's got that tankiness. In a matchup, though, Leona has more CC than Alistair, but I would definitely put Alistair being more tanky than Leona
Yeah,
with
you
his ult, for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, you would have to definitely consider that damage reduction that comes out of his ult. But whenever level 6 hits in bottom lane, it will be very, very explosive to see. So
Whoever hits
looking
level
forward to that.
6 should fight first, but it could be a toss-up. You never know.
And then a lot of the, well, we can look at middle lane right now. It seems that Lysandre's making a semi-early push and keeping Ezreal off of his farm.
Yeah.
And we have Sion working on taking down the Razor Beak. And
Hopefully
he will fall down. Oh, he'll go.
Yep.
So it looks to be fairly even, and we'll just see what happens from here. Waiting on some plays to be made, and we'll wait and see till then, I suppose.
I wonder what that the strategy is for that Sion on dying, on race. It's pretty interesting.
It's a strat because you can get with Sion's passive, and he deals so much damage with the percent health.
I think he was going for the level 2 advantage.
He takes the level 2 advantage, and a WQ combo coming out from the Alistair, putting down a little bit of poke onto the Lucian, but we'll see. Nothing too much comes out of it.
Never chase a singed.
Oh yeah, that will be in a dodge that Backtracer will definitely have to follow, and we'll see what happens with him. Okay. So things look to be decently passive at the moment. We'll take the Poon Prodigy, will get the stack off of his Relic Shield on the cannon minion. There comes the screen. Just putting down a little bit of damage onto the Singed, and here comes the Suspenseful for a gank. He lands the Q and the E, and he seems to be taking a little bit of damage, but in the flash, but it will not be able to secure the kill. The Singed looks no, and he will get away scot-free. He does have to burn his Ghost though, and Vi burnt her flash as well. So
I think it would have been best for him not to burn his flash because he had already activated Ghost, and within the range that he had, flash he wouldn't have been able to do any damage with that flash. So I think that was a mistake on his part, but it could go either way. He's doing golems and Singe just staying. He's pretty low. Never know. Could come back for another gank. Could work out pretty well for them.
Okay, so Vi will be backing right now, probably picking up her augmented smite. Haven't seen much of Rek'Sai, just seems to be power farming, picking up the Scuttle Crab, it appears. And a little bit of damage goes onto the Ezreal, but the Ezreal seems to respond back with some damage of his own. The W goes down, and he seems to be going a little low, and First Blood will be picked up by the Ezreal.
That is just that AP damage off that W. It's just incredible.
It's something that you definitely have to respect. It's not really seen this much compared to, like, say, blue build Ezreal or just Ezreal in the bot lane in general, so it is kind of unexpected, the amount of burst that he can put out.
Not many people expect him to be such a good mid laner, but he is. He has so much. But the best thing about it is if you're laning against an Ezreal, as long as you can dodge his W, he is pretty much useless as far as the early AP damage.
Oh, it looks something like, oh, never mind, the tables have been turned on to Vi, and she is trying to get away, but it doesn't look like she's going to be able to, and the Ezreal will pick up yet another kill, so looking pretty good for him at the moment, and they will pick up the red buff in response, so things are looking pretty good for the blue team, but the Lysandre comes in, drops the W, and Sion will come in and pick up and secure the kill. Shout goes down, slows down the Ezreal, pops the shield, and it looks like here comes in the Singe. He's going to fling. Q will go down, and Sion picks up another kill. So a very nice response from the Bread team here. And they're chasing the Singe. He's slowed down, but Frozen Clock goes down. It's not yet level 6, and Lysandre will pick up a kill, but will die to the minions and the poison from Singe Q. So I thought I heard a summon. Oh, the Lysandre popped both the flash and the ignite as well. So overall, looks like a summoner advantage in favor of the blue team. So things are beginning to even out, but with a QW combo will fail by the Alistair. But anyways, we do see that there's about a 300 gold lead held by the red team, which mostly be attributed to 10 CS lead by the Caitlyn in this lane, which is kind of what we can expect. I mean,
oh yeah, with her range, of course, she can farm. Minions under her tower just standing against the wall there. It's just incredible. That's what's so great about her range. And I love her trap placement down there. It's very interesting. It's very keeps them playing cautious.
Oh, and the Leona will go in, and the W will pop through, drops the Q, and knocks him back towards the Caitlyn, trying to put some more damage down. But it looks like, the Rek'Sai will come in, and then Caitlyn will take damage. The exhaust goes down onto the Rek'Sai. And will they be able to get away from this? And it looks like they will be. They'll leave them off with a stern warning.
Yeah.
A little bit of finger nod, too. It's like, no, don't do that again.
Caitlyn used Hill there pretty early. I don't know what she planned to do off of it. I seemed like that was the...
Oh, and a lot of damage goes onto the Lissandra, but...
All that W damage off AP.
And the True Shot Barrage as well, who was also used in that exchange.
If that would have hit, that would have probably been a guaranteed kill.
Yeah.
We'll see. Watch him for.
Damage is definitely something that you have to respect, and it looks like the junglers will have a fight, but we won't be able to see it, so I guess not much came out of that. So, relic shield stacks being exchanged in bottom lane, and it looks to be a little bit of a fight up in the top lane, but the knockup does not come out of the Sion Q, but a lot of damage being put down, and the ult comes down as well, so it looks like the Singed might be in some trouble. He pops his ult and his Ghost trying to get away, but the Sion will flash in hopes that he might be able to get a kill off of it. But that movement speed coming out of Singed is just too much, and he will not be able to get that kill. But you can see Rek'Sai waiting off in the wings just to be safe as to nothing will happen. So
I feel as though that was one of those attempts, where a player gets greedy and they flash to try to guarantee the kill, but...
A little bloodthirsty. Oh, and he tries for the flash Q combo, but it's not work out for him very well. It will take a little bit of damage. The E will come out onto him, but it looks like the Frozen Tomb goes down onto Lucian, and some damage, and Leona will go down, but Lissandra is eating that culling, but Vi will come in and get the kill. But meanwhile, they try to get something up top, and nothing comes out of it. So, and the True Shot Barrage will snap off the Lissandra. That's a shame. But it does look like the red team will be able to pick up this tower, so that is something. And they're holding a 600 gold lead, and that will spike up a little more, giving them a 1,400 gold lead. So that's good for them.
Watch that Ez, he's starting to get fed.
The Ezreal is starting, and he's actually picked up a Majaz, so he's getting pretty confident that he will be able to juke out of those fights with the Arcane Shift. So we'll see if that will actually pay off, or if it might come back to bite him later. We've got the Rek'Sai hovering around in this top side. With Sion low on mana, he may not be able to make something happen here. But Cinch will back, and he picks up a tier, or he's been sitting on it. Red team, meanwhile, is picking up the dragon. But Ezreal sees it, and he puts down a lot of damage and drops down the Alistar, actually. But they do pick up the dragon. And Ezreal was forced to flash since he did Arcane Shift over the wall to try and pick it up. So a kill in response for the dragon for the blue team, and it looks like they're trying to make something happen on mid. The Leona lockdown does go down, preventing him from jumping back to the glacial path. And will he be able to get out of this? No, the True Shot Barrage goes out, but he does manage to dodge it. But Lissandra's on the wrong side of the river here. The Solar Flare goes down, and he does manage to dodge it. The exhaust goes down, does connect, and Lissandra will go down. So not too well, and things are starting to even out for the blue team. So
seems the blue team is relying heavily on their Ezreal. He seems to be doing very well with the landing phase against the Lissandra. Lissandra has that AP damage. She can still come back. She can still get fed. But from the looks of it, how it's going so far, it just looks like it's going all in favor of blue.
Well, now that we've hit the 10-minute mark, another important thing that we need to see between the teams is the CS differential. So if we look at that, there's about 4-3 now in favor of the San. It's about even in the jungle. Also even. So CS totals do seem to be rather even, except for that mid lane with a very large differential. But now we have the fight going down. Assault Battery drop down onto the Lucian with the Q and the E. And Leona seems to be in a bit of a bind here with 4 people, and the Vi will pick up the kill once more. And we do have Cinch farming in between the turrets with the nice proxy strategies. And not too much that the Sion can really do. Not able to push out that much damage, but the True Shot Barrage will go down, and he does manage to pick off the Vi.
That's incredible Ezreal damage.
Yeah, the Ezreal damage is beginning to get a little ridiculous as he's got 13 stacks on that Majasa. It forces the Alistar to drop.
We have TP coming in
We got
here.
TP coming in from the San, but he looks a little confused, and he misses his ult. But the Rek'Sai might go down here. Seems to be in a little bit of trouble. There's no tower there to back them up. But we do have a TP coming in from the Singed. The culling goes through and tries to eat through the Alistar, but it does look like the Caitlyn damage will be able to take him down. But we do have San keep on going in, and he gets the knock-up, but he may not be able to get out of this. He's kind of in a hard spot right here between the Leona
But Lissandra's
and the
coming down too.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in from behind.
The Ezreal will just back out, but there comes the Glacial Path. Drops the Frozen Tomb, and he will get the shutdown onto the Ezreal. So good play by the Lissandra there.
That was a good play by the red team. Got him back into the game and gave him the gold lead there.
Well, the
Also
gold lead
shut
does appear to be in the red team's favor for a while. They do have a nice 2K gold lead at the moment.
They also got the shutdown on Ez, which will help
Which was a very
Lissandra greatly in the mid lane. She can push that, get some farm, get some tower damage there.
With that 500 gold lead, with the 500 gold that he got off the shutdown, that should help a little bit. But now that we see that the Ezreal, and Ghost popped, he might be trying to get something on the fling does go down, but in exchange with the headbutt, and it does look like the Alistar will be able to get away. Singed wants it though, but no. No dice, so. And we see that Ezreal picking up a Giant's Belt, which is a little interesting. He might be going for the Rylos potentially.
Yes.
But we have another fight going down. The Singed is falling low, but he does manage to just walk away. Oh, and the headshot does go, and the Ace in the Hole does go out, and the Singed will fall. So, but we do have the Ezreal beginning to push on this tier 1 mid. And the Zenith Blade does land and drops the Assault and Battery to try and get out. And he does pick off the Lucian. And the Vi will be able to get away with it too. So, very nice solo play by Suspenseful.
I'm glad he chose to Assault and Battery on Lucian there, because if he would have chose the wrong target, that fight would have been a completely different way. I think that was a good choice by him.
He's taking a little bit of turret aggro, but he will walk away, and he should be okay with that. So, San may be able to pick up the tier 1 off this. So, we will see. Ezreal once again knocking on that tier 1. The True Shot Barrage will come out, and Lissandra barely holding on. Have to take the claw out, but the Vi is there to answer with the kill. So the Ezreal, blue team may have fed Ezreal, but we do have a fed Vi coming out, and depending on the builds, a full damage Vi is a very devastating thing. I've experienced that in a couple of my games. Triforce Vi is especially scary, but
But I like Red Team's strategy here. They're focusing more on trying to shut down the Ezreal and focus more on he is being the only carry that they have currently.
And we also have to remember that the Mejai's stacks were lost whenever he did fall, so we do have a little bit of a wet noodle fight going on between the top laners here. The shout will go out and chunk down the Singed rather low, but Sion is running low on mana, and he pops the ult, and it looks like he might be able to pick up the kill. One more auto attack, and he does flash for it, and he does in fact pick up the kill. So good on the Sion, and I just noticed that he has 4 kills, so that's really good on him. He'll be able to stack up a lot of that health and become a very nice front line for them, for the red team. So we'll see how that turns out for them.
Looks like Caitlyn's also getting pretty fed too. She's 3-0 with static.
With the static shift, yes, I can see. That's.
She's got a.
Oh, and the Lucian does dash away, but the Lucian Prism does come out, and he will fall. But then the Ezreal does manage to pick off the Lissandra as well. And Vi is attempting. Wait, the exhaust goes down, and doesn't look like that turned out too well for the red team with a double kill picked up by the Leona.
The most interesting thing there was Ezreal's placement of his ult. It hit every one of the red team members. And I think that was pretty devastating considering he has a large base AP damage with his ult and his W. So that was a big factor for them winning that fight, and that was very good of Ezreal to make that play.
And while the kills may be favoring, well, the kills are, everything's favoring the red team, but with fights like that, it may be able to cause a momentum swing for the blue team. but we will see. With blue team now trying to pick up their first dragon of the game, that might be enough to just keep riding that momentum wave. And will they pick it up? I don't really see any stopping potential out of the red team, so yes, they will be able to secure that. The Alistair sees that they get it, and Lissandra looks to go in, but the WQ combo does come through, and the cinch might be Ace in the Hole comes out. It is not enough. The True Shot Barrage does go out, but it does manage to whiff. +3 for the Ezreal, so it's good. Got a bit of an awkward situation here in the jungle. Let's see. Red team just kind of circling around, trying to get off a pick, but the shout does go down, but the Rek'Sai will manage to burrow away to safety. Singed keeping that smoke on will start to deplete his mana, but he does have that tier stacking.
Red team should be careful here.
Oh, and he does, and the Lissandra blows up the Singed, and Assault and Battery comes down onto the Lucian. Will he be able to get away? He does hide under the turret, and a double kill for the Lissandra, but the Lucian does manage to pick it up in the end. So, and now San and Alistair running away, but Alistair does seem that he wants to sacrifice himself, dropping the Q to try and get the knock-up, and he's just sitting there buying time to make sure that the San gets away. Nice team play by the Alistair.
That was a very good decision. He knew that he wouldn't be able to get out of that, and he chose to save one of his other teammates than trying to run away and let him chase. It was a very good decision.
So Caitlyn drops the trap to try to deter the Ezreal, but it looks like he's out for blood. But, oh, the Q will connect, but not dealing an enormous amount of damage, but it's enough to keep the Caitlyn away. So, with a nice turret, I mean, all the tier 1s knocked out for all the blue sides. So a lot of pressure, and they need to keep up their wards. If you look, most of the map is black. Not a whole lot of wards placed down by either side. You see a pink, you see a few red wards laying around, a few defensive blues here and there, but not a whole lot. Vi will pick up the red buff, smites that, gets the red buff and the extra HP increase.
That Singed farm.
Oh, the Singed is farming very nice, but so is some of the farms are starting to stack up rather nicely, and it looks like we have a fight in between Caitlyn and the Lucian, who dropped down the culling, and Sion ult comes down. Will it be able to connect? Chilling Smite goes out, and let's see, hiding in the bushes. Nope. The Singe just seems to be a little too slippery for the red team to deal with, and he will walk away. And he's still just sitting there like he's taunting. Oh, and here comes in the Ezreal. He misses both of the W, but the True Shot Barrage will come in and secure the kill for the Ezreal. 10-3 now, picking up the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well to help stick to his targets, dropping the slows as well. So,
saw one of those.
Oh, and the Lucian is running into a bit of trouble. Will he drop the ult to secure it? No. Oh, he'll dash away, and he might. Will he get away? Dangerous game. Can he get it? And Ace Null will come out, and Caitlyn will pick up the kill.
Saw that flash fell there by the Vi in the top lane. That was beautiful. Rarely see that anymore, but it's really awesome to see those in the games.
Yeah, nothing much more satisfying than getting that little extra distance on your knockups, like with Jarvan Flash Q.
Yeah.
Or Vi Flash Q, anything like that. Feels really satisfying, but it's kind of hard to practice if you have to wait 5 minutes every single time. So,
yeah.
So you can't necessarily blame him for that, unless he spent a whole lot of time practicing. And it looks like Caitlyn may actually pick up this tier 2 in the bottom lane. So Ezreal looks to be moving down that way.
With 4 coming bot for that Caitlyn, I would push mid very hard and try to get
True Shot
something
Barrage
else.
comes out and does hit. And with the slow coming down, Ezreal might be able to, but he just leaves. So it might be a kill denied for the Ezreal.
That was good rotation by Blue, noticing that their tier 2 was already gone and that they were pushing mid. They went mid lane to defend that tower. It was very good of them.
Oh, and the Ezreal's run into a bit of a trouble. Frozen Tomb does go down, and everything is unloaded onto the Ezreal. Glacial Tomb, the Assault and Battery, everything just to secure that kill. But with the raid boss down for the blue team, it does look like the red team will be able to make some plays.
That was a beautiful headbutt by Alistair there.
And with another kill picked up by the red team, it looks like they might be able to make a good press down onto this tier 2 mid.
You have Caitlyn coming there to the mid. It'll
Caitlyn
be
coming down, but with double knockup by the Rek'Sai. And utter chaos is essentially erupting here, but the Vi will be able to pick off the Rek'Sai for another kill for the red team. So they're beginning to make a lot of progress down onto this, down onto the blue side, despite some of the struggles that they've run into with the Fed Ezreal. But with Alistar sitting in the front, taking up, but he does get down to the Q onto the Lucian, and he will be promptly blown up. So a little bit, oh, well, that happened. So they do end up getting the tier 2, but they lose the Lissandra 4 and the Alistar as well. This Ezreal is doing really well with the skill shots, so.
That's what I was talking about earlier before the game got started. You have to be aware of when Ezreal will cast his ult, because every Ezreal player knows, you know, with somebody low, there's always that potential where I could cast my ult and get that kill, and it'd be very good for them in the late run.
And we've got a fling onto the Vi, but it looks like he does jump in front to deny the Q, but the Chilling Smite will go down, and it looks like the Vi may be able to get away, but with the Ghost popped onto the Singed, he's still going. But it looks like the Vi should be able to, oh, he's tower diving, but the Sion's there, and he says, nope, you back away off my jungler. And he tries to teleport away, but the damage and the knockup from the Sion is just too much, but the blue team, meanwhile, is picking up their second dragon of the game. And the clip, and Ezreal is blown up again, once again.
Beautiful combo by Lissandra there, using her W to stun him, and then her ult to deny him from using any skill shots.
And the Lucian is having a pretty rough time this game, going 1-8, just getting constantly caught out by the Lissandra with the Ring of Frost and the Frozen Tomb. It's causing a lot of trouble, but now it looks like the Rek'Sai might be caught out as well. With the Flash W, oh, and the Surrender Vote does come out, so GG, well played to both teams, and congratulations to the red team. So anything you want to say about what's your thoughts overall on this game?
That was a very interesting game. I'm glad that the team knew once they shut down Ezreal that the blue team was basically useless. They had no damage. Their potential in lane was closed down early game by the other laners. So their emphasis was Lissandra may have been put back on Ezreal being fed a few kills and getting that lead, but they later focused on the objective of the game, which was to focus on taking towers and supporting your other team members. Even though Lissandra did lose in kills, she still kept up in farm, you know, maybe a little, about 18 or so farm off, and still stayed into the game. And she didn't go negative. She roamed and helped bot lane get fed when Caitlyn got leads and kills and helped shut down Lucian and helped them push further for the win. It's just a great game to watch.
And another thing that we need to point out is that this was kind of what the red team might have been banking on with their comp with the Lissandra and the Vi, having a fed target or something, a focus for the red team to blow up ults.
They had a lot of damage with those CCs from Lissandra and Vi as their ultimates, and Lissandra's W, and then you had Alistar's Q and Alistar's W as a knockback. Their team was very CC oriented, and I liked watching that. They used it very well to their advantage.
So while we were waiting on getting another spectated match going for University of Pikeville Esports team, I don't really know what we're supposed to do at this point, honestly. We've pretty much given analysis on the last game, so
they're probably going to play another ranked game.
Yeah, they're already in champion select. We're waiting on the spectator delay to come in so we can look at team comps and analyze things like that. So I guess we play the waiting game for now. Wish we had like some elevator music.
Yeah, or some Jeopardy music would be pretty entertaining too.
Either one. Having like some nice background music might help to pass the time just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little quiet in this room.
Well, let's see, what can we talk about at the meantime? Well, we can talk about Bard, just being announced the other day, coming out on the PBE. Have you looked at the kit much?
Not much. The last time that I looked at anything was when the patch notes for the recent champion updates, when they nerfed.
The Cassidy nerfs.
Yeah,
those will be hitting pretty hard, and we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really played that much Cassidy, but looking at cutting his ult range in half is pretty devastating.
Yeah, but it's not really his range that was really a factor. It was he could cast it consecutively, within a matter of seconds, and it had, a lot of damage. He could be a very bursty AP damage champion. He was really hard to control because he could always, just like every other mid lane, he could go in there and assassinate somebody, then leave without having any potential of getting caught out unless you had a strong oriented CC team.
Yeah.
So the range is a nerf. It is, but
it's most definitely a nerf, and we'll see.
With his escaping and his initiation is the only potential I see that as being a nerf for him. I see it not really being a hard nerf for him. It is a strong nerf. Don't get me wrong.
It's going to cripple him and make him completely unplayable.
I don't think that will cripple his assassinations at all. I think as long as he still has his damage output that he still had before, the range won't be that big of a factor.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The new patch just did come out today, so I guess we'll have to wait for all that to settle in, and I guess we'll make our decision. I guess the decision will be made then. A few other things. I did get to play a couple of games of PB with Bard. I didn't get to play him myself, but it seems that he's a really interesting player, a really interesting champion, rather. With his top lane ganks on red side are extremely strong. Like from the corner of red, you can drop a portal from the corner on that little intersection on red side jungle, or the top lane. Sorry, use your words. And he can jump all the way with this portal behind the tower with a one-way portal, so they can't jump back. So they are kind of stuck there. But the tower diving potential on that is extremely strong, and since he will be roaming around, I'm really excited for this champion. Being a support main, it's just this is like Christmas morning looking at this kit.
I think it's interesting to see tanky champions like that.
Well, we'll see. I haven't really. Out of the games I've seen, I've saw a lot of different builds, but a lot of them revolved around movement speed. So it's just like everything, just like Lich Bane, Zephyr, and he's just like, I gotta go fast, guys. That's it. It's like fast like Sanic. So we have another game queued up with the spectator timer down to about 2.5 minutes. Go ahead and dissect this team comps for us.
You see that they have a Jarvan top lane on the blue side there, with a Blitzcrank support, a Rammus jungle, a Sivir AD carry, and a LeBlanc mid. And on the red side, you have Jack's top lane. You have a Ahri mid, a Sona support with Ignite. That's pretty interesting. A Vi jungle, and a AD carry Caitlyn.
So we're seeing a lot of picks recurve, because once again, that UPIKE will be on the red side. Seems that's the Vi and the Caitlyn appear to be comfort picks for both of those players, but who knows? We'll see.
The mid lane is a toss-up for me because both champions have, that high-based AP, but with Ahri's new update, she has that movement speed on her Q, which could help her dodge some of LeBlanc's potential spells if her Q does hit.
Well, most of LeBlanc's damage is that point and click, except for the chains. But that is the majority of her kill potential if she can land those if LeBlanc can land those ethereal chains. So the move speed will be very nice, and I think that it will be, for the most part, a skill matchup. And since the Ahri does have to get in close to land the Foxfires and the Spirit Rushes, so that will be very interesting. But the Blitzcrank, and we might be able to see DJ Sona. I think I went online and I saw that he had the DJ Sona icon, so we might be able to get some of that nice.
Be interesting
DJ
to see
music
in game for the first time for me. But seeing that matchup in bot lane, that Sona and Caitlyn versus Sivir and Blitz, should be interesting. I want to see how they will react to that. Blitzcrank pulls, if he lands one on Sona, then Sivir's damage with her Q and her W and her attack speed. If she builds an IE and then a static and then goes with a Last Whisper for that late game, she'll be pretty much unstoppable if she gets pretty fed, because they don't really have a very tanky team they're mostly focused on damage. Unless Jax, gets pretty fed in the top lane, that'll be the most tank that they have, unless you see Vi build more tank this game than she did last game.
We didn't really get to talk that much about builds last game, but since it was so short with the surrender right around 20, we didn't really get to see that much develop out of them, so we might have to keep a little bit more of a closer eye on that. But one of the major things that we need to talk about is the differential in range between the Sivir and the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn should be able to push out, combined with the poke from the Sona. It just pretty much revolves around whether or not that Blitzcrank can channel his inner Mad Life and land those hooks left and right. Because if they do, it will very, very highly favor the blue team in that bottom lane matchup. But those Blitzcrank pulls can be kind of hard to land, so we'll see what happens with that.
I'm interested to see how this J4 against Jack's top lane will go, and which side will be leaned towards winning in laning phase. J4 has, that potential for ganks. He can make an awesome jungler, especially now. He's just so great in the jungle currently. To see him in top lane is pretty interesting, especially against the Jack. So I wonder how that will go over during the laning phase.
The Jarvan 4 top lane has popped up just a little bit, but now that we think about it, the ganking potential combined with the Jarvan and the Rammus is kind of scary. If he can land that flag, if the Jarvan can land the flag and drag, that's a lot of CC coming down. With the Rammus powerballing in, dropping the taunt, that's a lot of time for that Jarvan to essentially just wail on that Jax.
Also, with the CC coming in from Rammus Q too, and taunt lasting forever. The Rammus taunt's awful.
Well, the Rammus taunts did get nerfed quite a while back. But whenever I first started playing League, I do remember having I forget how long it was. It was like borderline 5-second taunts, and it was
like
glorious.
Morgana's stun. Lasts like 5 minutes before you actually get out of it.
Oh yeah, you get like an AFK message if you do happen to get hit by it.
Yep.
Oh. Well, while we're waiting on jungle camps to spawn in 55 seconds, not seeing any particularly out of the ordinary things. It looks like the Jax will be trying to go for the level 2. Going for the early level 2 off of the Razorbeak camp.
That could be very good for him. He could get that early lead on J4 and shut him down potentially with farm.
But that could be, or he might just be sitting there, I don't know. But that would be very dangerous because the Razorbeak camp does do so much damage early on.
It does.
Unless he did take the counter strike. Probably might not have been the best idea, so he will just rotate up to the top lane and wait on anything. So
first time seeing DJ Sona there in the bot lane. Beautiful skin, beautiful skin.
Well, it should be for the 3250 price, but I was kind of hoping that we would get to hear the music, but it's not looking like we do. So a single sad tear rolls down my cheek right now.
Seeing the animations is pretty interesting. It seems like they've done a lot of working with her animations on that skin. It's just so beautiful to see.
So we're looking at the lanes as lane phase begins, putting down a little red team putting on the early aggression, putting down just a little bit of poke, and Ahri looks to go in aggressive, and the true damage will come through on the Orb of Deception, putting the LeBlanc down at about half health, but she does see. No, she is not running Utility Tree, so she does not have that little extra HP regain off of the Biscuits of Rejuvenation. So just exchanging blows up in the top lane. The Sun does go down with that Orb of Deception and the distortion and the Sigil of Malice coming down. It does seem to be about evened out with poke in terms of the mid lane. So it's just pretty much back and forth right now. CS tends to be, it looks about even right now, but 1 or 2 CS right now wouldn't really make or break. Oh, the hook does go down, and it does catch the Sona. The power this does go down, knocks up, but Sona will manage to walk away without burning any summoners. But a lot of damage put down.
Sona has that sustain with her W though, so in a matter of a few minutes she could be back full health.
She will be back, but that does put a large amount of pressure onto her mana pool. But since she does have those extra mana potions to hang on to, she should be okay for another Might be able to survive it at this crank with it too. But Jarvan does look to go aggressive. He lands the flag and drag, but lands the dodge, and does seem that Jax does reciprocate the damage, and he looks to go in a little more aggressive, but doesn't seem that much will come out of it. The LeBlanc passive is popped, and he hits onto the clone. So it looks like the LeBlanc may have to go back at this point.
You see that wonderful Sona poke and Caitlyn poke come up in the bot lane.
The poke coming out of that bottom lane is pretty strong. And we'll see.
If that was what they were going for, that's a very good pick. Those two champions have so much poke, and their damage is incredible at level 1.
And the augmented damage that comes off of... Oh, she goes in aggressive, but the Blitzcrank... And it does look like the Sona might go... Yes, she will go down, but did drop the Ignite on the Sivir, but at these early levels, it does not seem that it will be enough. So that aggression from the Sona is a little uncharacteristic. You don't really see that much from Sonas until they're level 6 with the flash crescendos. But
that was a beautiful hook by Blitz.
It was kind of necessary with that Sona just standing right in front of you. It's just like begging, hook me, please.
Yeah.
But that's might be a little too.
I was kind of interested to see her flash there. I don't know. It was good to see her damage, but it was just interesting. I don't know what she was going for there, but it was very, very interesting play.
And the Rammus looks to go in for a gank. Does come around from behind, and the Ahri is quickly evaporated, but it does look like that she will be able to get the LeBlanc on the backside of that. So mid laners trading kills.
It was a beautiful, beautiful Q by Ahri there. Rammus was picking up the kill, and
well, we will have to put that on hold. But never mind. You can keep on talking. The Vi missed the Qs, and nothing really much came out of that. Just a little bit of do-si-do around the turret.
But yeah, the Rammus picked up that kill in mid lane and not LeBlanc, so that will be a potential bad thing for LeBlanc in the game. Ahri getting that lead with a kill there.
Ahri will be picking up that Fiendish Codex to give her a little bit more cooldown reduction with the Doran's Ring and those biscuits. She will be able to sustain mana decently well. She can keep up the CS. Let's see what happens.
You see a large lead with farm here in the bot lane with Caitlyn versus Sivir, but never forget that Sivir is one of those farm-based champions. She can build a static in late game, catch up in no time at all. With her W and her static shiv, it's just incredible to see her her clear time late game.
But with the Caitlyn running a little low on mana, her poke will start to dwindle just a little bit, and she will be more auto attack focused off of her damage. So no more Piltover Peacemakers, and it looks like the red team is about to go aggressive and does land a hook on the Sona again. And it doesn't look like she will be able to get out of this. No, Blitzcrank will pick up the kill, but the Ahri does look to roam and make something happen. The charm lands, and the Rammus is quickly evaporated. Sivir will drop the spell shield just in case, but it does look like she's ready to pick up some more, and she might just, the charm does land, but so does the Blitzcrank hook, and Ahri might be in a bit of trouble, but with both of them landing low, getting rather low on health, it'll probably force all of them to back.
It was pretty interesting to see there. It was Ahri flashed instead of ulted. I wonder if her ult ran out.
It looks like she probably ran out of Spirit Rush charges at that point. So, oh wow, I can't believe I even missed that. We got too caught up in that. Jax did pick up a kill on the Jarvan, so good on him, and that will give him plenty of gold to go back on with a pushing wave crashing into the Jarvan turret, denying a lot of CS, but the TP will come in, so he will try to salvage that wave. And he picks up a Brutalizer, so that will help with his damage output quite a bit. But
seeing that J4 with farm lead, though, could be potentially devastating for Jax unless he can build correctly and get that late game farm and catch back up.
Yeah, but with the 15 CS differential, it looks to be sort of balanced out by the kill, so they're about even right here in terms of gold. And with the counter strike going down and missing the stun, but he does pop the ult, so a lot of his burst damage off the third hit will be removed while that is going down, but a lot of damage. He does seem to turn back in, and the Cataclysm, but he does have to flash out. And that was a close call at top line.
It was a beautiful play by J4, noticing that he still could go in with that low health and still do as much damage as he did. And pop a flash from Jax.
So both top laners without any of their summoners. And Jax does look to go aggressive again, and they're both chunked down rather low. They might want to stop. But it does look like the Jax will be building towards that Blade of the Ruin King for the nice split push. And with some skill shots by the Ahri, the LeBlanc is able to easily pick up that solo kill. Burning the Ignite as well, so that will be down for a few minutes.
It looks as though blue team might be setting up for a drag here, or maybe they just might be getting coverage on it.
Warding up, most likely. Seeing that their bot lane is MIA, the red team might have attempted for a dragon, but since they did catch out the Vi, that probably dashed out the hopes of any of that happening. Drop the Piltover Peacemaker, but the Sivir does drop the spell shield, so she will get a little bit of mana off that and not take the damage as well. And here comes in the gank. There comes the Assault and Battery and the Chilling Smite, and Jarvan will go down, and Jax will pick up the kill.
I see that Jax getting fed again.
Fed Jax is definitely something that the blue team does not want to have to deal with. The split push will be extreme. The split push will be very dangerous for him.
Especially with him running TP, he could easily go in at any time and take any objective that he wants.
Blitzcrank looking for a hook at the moment, and the Caitlyn not exactly anywhere to go. On the Hunt is popped, so it looks like the Caitlyn is in a bit of a rough spot, but the Crescendo will go down, and the exhaust does come down onto the Caitlyn, and the Sona does pick up the kill in the end, and the Caitlyn is still alive, but the Blitzcrank does manage to pick up that kill. And he will manage to walk away, no. But the Rammus is coming down, so the Sona might want to be a little careful. And both of the supports walk away with the...
With that trade, I would bring my mid lane down, LeBlanc, and I would do drag as fast as I could. Red team's Caitlyn got caught out there, and Ahri was already backing, so this was the best time to do drag.
This is a very good opportunity for the blue team to pick up this dragon. But they do have a ward on there, so the red team will in fact have a timer on that. So, a little bit of a slow dragon. They might try to take it, and the Vi will get a kill onto the Blitzcrank, but she's in a bit of a rough spot with the LeBlanc damage. But Jax does come down, burning, he just roamed down, and the Rammus kill is secure. But at what cost? It does look like the Jax is going to fall, and so we have a 1-for-2 in favor of the blue team. Jarvan denying this, picking up some farm before he does it, and does finally knock down the tier 1 tower. So tower advantage now going for the blue team.
2 kills for 1 tower.
Well, that was more in the meantime, but 2 kills, and the dragon was not picked up by anyone at the moment. So with a 1,500 gold lead by the blue side, they're in a pretty good spot at the moment. They're up in tower. Well, they only have one. They have a tower advantage, and I will find a wild Jarvan, and Assault and Battery is dropped. But it looks like he might just flag and drag to safety. But the Vi is looking for this kill, and she does.
She secures the kill.
A lot of solo plays being made by this Vi, which may come back and backfire in the end. Making all these solo plays while you're not exactly building up all these tanks, but in the meantime, well, camera's not going to let us see what exactly happened in that mid lane brawl. But the Rammus does come in, but cancels the power ball, it looks like.
Seems as though that buff to Ahri's Q was a really good for her in the mid lane. I noticed she can use that movement speed to dodge skills easier, to escape easier, so that's good for her.
So it now looks like the Rammus might be roaming down and try and make something happen, but he's spotted out by a ward and will drop a trap to try and deter the Rammus. And as we say that, the charm does go down and the Vi misses the Q, but it does look like they will be able to pick up the kill. So that's well done and should open up the middle lane for Siege.
Should be able to take this tower.
Roams down, and they will be able to open up the map with the knocking down of this tier 1 mid tower. So well played by the red team. Rammus and Blitzcrank coming in, but a little too late on the draw. Blitzcrank waiting in the wings, trying to get a hook, but not really. If he does land the hook, there's not that much follow-up, and he will run into Vi and Sona, so not too good for the Blitzcrank. Sad robot. Oh, on the Hunt is popped by the Sivir, and it looks like we will have a battle between the AD carries. Heal is popped by the Sivir, and the headshot at point blank and the Caitlyn will be able to pick up the kill.
Beautiful play by Caitlyn there, using her the advantage of the
Yes.
the bush, where she could not gain vision, so she wouldn't know if she was
And
cast.
stacking passive as well. That's a lot of things that I feel like some people forget, is that Caitlyn does get those increased stacks off of her passive while she's sitting in a bush. So they will be able to rotate, and the team does rotate down and picks up the tier 1 bottom tower as well. So a lot of things going right for the red team at this moment. Jax, she might be in trouble here. He drops down the counter-strike, jumps onto the LeBlanc, gets the stun down. And wow, that's really chaotic. Kind of hard to tell what's exactly what's going down. The Cataclysm is dropped. Caitlyn does 9 caliber net out of that. The Jarvan does go back in for the flag and drag for the 4-man knockup, but nothing else comes out of it. And a nice distortion by the LeBlanc. Drops down the chain onto the Vi and will manage to get away, stopping the Vi Q out of that, but
Beautiful hook by Blitzcrank.
that was a very
there.
nice hook by Blitzcrank. And the exhaust does go down onto the Vi, so that should be a kill secured. Flash by the Sivir may not have been necessary, but I guess do what you got to do for the kill.
This is a great potential setup for drag here with all the members being down.
Oh, that was the Ahri getting caught out is is a very bad. Oh, the Jax might be coming in trying to get a revenge kill on top. In compensation, but the spell shield will be popped. But the Jax will get the kill in the end. But I don't think that the Jax is going to be able to get out of this. 4v1 he's not exactly at that stage where he can do that just yet.
Not yet, but he can late game. It's very scary seeing that late game.
With a 4 and 3, he should be getting pretty close to finishing that Blade of the Ruin King. So his damage will be increased quite a bit, as well as the capability to split push with the combined attack speed from the Blade of the Ruin King and his passive. So that is a little scary to consider on the blue team. They do have a bit of a ticking time bomb on them with that Jax. So he will just continue to ramp up and become this really dangerous late game threat. And that they're definitely going to have to assign at least one person all game on that.
Seeing the J4 go off with 103 farm against the Jax is pretty interesting to see. You usually see Jax with that incredible farm and not the J4, which is really good to see.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of damage coming out from the block, but she does go down. The Ahri does go down, but it does. That was an interesting thing. I've never seen that happen before. It looks like it almost got stopped. The Vial almost got stopped by the Cataclysm, but it looked just like, it's just a mountain. Nah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Excuse me. I gotta blow up this LeBlanc.
Beautiful assassination by LeBlanc, though.
Good follow-up kill. So it's nice to having good map presence, and it looks like she will just queue away and not go in onto the Rammus. But it does look like they're out for blood, and 4-man rotation mid, but a nice crescendo coming out from the Sona. But in the end, the Sivir will pick off the Vi, but will some revenge kills come out? No, the Flag and Drag will go down, and the Jax will fall, giving a double kill for the Sivir. With a nice push going for the blue team, they might decide to rotate for this dragon. An Ace of Hole will go out, but the Blitzcrank will tank it, saving Rammus, but the flash will come out as his mana barrier is popped. Piltover Peacemaker just barely misses, and that could have been a very dead Blitzcrank if that would have landed.
This will be interesting to see them attempt drag with this much health as they do have.
They are a little low health, but the Caitlyn might go in and try something. They are rather low health, but I don't think that would be the smartest decision at this point. Hook goes out, but does not catch anyone, and it does look like they're in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. The Powerball does go out and hit the Ahri. The taunt does go down, but the Rammus will fall to Sona's Ignite. And kills are about evened out with just a 900 gold lead, and the Ahri goes in for an assassination, but just so much back and forth. This is a really good, really even match, it seems like, between these two teams. And with the gold lead just about evened out, about 400 differential between the two at 18 minutes is really, really close, I feel like.
It is. It's interesting to see Jax catching back up in farm now with that Blade of the Ruin King.
It does seem that he's been able to solo farm for the most part. His teleport about 60% off cooldown, so we'll see that come out. With with Vi and Caitlyn hammering away at this tier 2 bottom turret, they will be able to pick that up. And it does seem that the red team is putting down a lot more pressure onto their turrets compared to the red team, even though they do appear to have a bit of an advantage. And we are seeing a Bloodthirster picked up at the Caitlyn first. That's a bit odd. Normally you would see like an Infinity Edge or a Static Shiv come out. Blitzcrank trying to secure the red buff, but Caitlyn will pick that up in the end, but she's in a bit of some trouble. On the Hunt is popped with the double distortion. And the Ethereal Chain and the exhaust comes out, but Vi is here. And she will be able to pick off the Sivir, and the rest of the team comes here in due time. And she will be able to distort to safety. The passive is popped by LeBlanc. And the clone will die, and more going in by the Jarvan. Spirit Rush is going out. Blitzcrank hit by the charm, and he will go down as well. So a very well played team fight by the red team, making the best out of a bad situation, picking up 3 kills at the for sacrificing the Caitlyn. I think I would take that trade for a tier 3 as well, knocking down the inhibitor turret.
Which is pretty interesting to see Rammus farming in the jungle as they're taking in him.
Oh yeah, that is something
you don't really see that very often, which was very, very curious decision by Rammus.
Oh, Black and Drag goes down, and Jack's falling a little bit low, but he does seem to thirst for blood, but it will come back to bite him in the end and not be able to pick up anything. They do pick up the in-hit, but I think that it will cost them pretty much all of it. Well, they do not manage to pick up a kill. They almost take off the LeBlanc and the Sivir, but it is not enough. And I think they honestly just got a little bit greedy on that. That's a little bit of a questionable play going all the way for the inhibitor.
It would have probably been best for them to try to back out quicker and
take down the turret and then just back off would probably be good.
Yeah, and you know, have that Jax teleport down when they try to push mid really hard, because mid lane tower is still up and so is bot lane. So they have that potential to push one lane, but Jax with that TP and that split pushing potential that Jax is always known for, he could push top lane out, take top tower, and also TP bot and take out in him. So incredible about Jax players is most of them are focused on team fighting, but Jax has so much potential to be great with split pushing. He can just go bot lane or mid lane or wherever and just split push.
And blue team will be able to pick off this tier 1 mid, and the fight erupts, and the Vi is quickly just evaporated, but Ahri diving in deep, picking up a kill on the LeBlanc, but she will pay for it, picking up a double kill for the Sivir. And the Jarvan, the Ace of the Hole does go down and picks off the Jarvan, so shutdown going down to the Caitlyn. Jax will pick up a kill as well, taking down the Sivir, and it looks like Rammus will just have to powerball for his life. And he will get away being the only surviving member of the blue team. So a 4 for 3 in favor of the red team.
Beautiful fight there by the red team. Way to focus the correct targets and get those people initiated.
And Caitlyn has found, no, she's just picking up and cleaning up the red buff. So might have found the Rammus, but Caitlyn appears to be rotating mid to help push down this bottom lane. And the Rammus just quickly finding a little bush and hiding away and recalling back to base. Or not. It looks like they might be able to start collapsing onto the Caitlyn, but they'll just cross paths and walk away and not say anything to each other. So while we're at what appears to be a bit of a lull in this game, we can look at the builds coming out from all of these players. It looks like Blitzcrank is working on a Frozen Heart at the moment, which I could kind of understand with a lot of auto attack damage coming out from that, with that Caitlyn doing pretty respectable damage, but I'm not entirely sure about the Bloodthirster pick as a first item. I think the Bloodthirster would be more of a defensive item going in about 3rd or 4th item into the build. Maybe an Infinity Edge might have worked better, but Sivir clearing out a pink ward. Oh, the Golden Draven. Picking up the Scuttle Crab as well, and they will keep the minions off of the tier 1. Just some general farming up. Cleaning up the jungle on both ends. Probably preparing for the dragon. Should be preparing for the dragon coming up in 20 seconds. I don't think that the red team has picked up a single dragon either, but the blue team, has the blue team picked up a dragon either? Yes, they do have 1 dragon taken, and with some pressure down, they will knock down the tier 1 top turret for the red team. Charm goes down onto the Rammus, Orb of Deception will chunk him. But, the flash by the Blitzcrank, but not that much comes out of it, and they don't have a turret. So it looks like they might be in a bit of a spot. I mean, a bit of trouble here. The Ari will Spirit Rush away and... Oh, the lag. Jarvan will drop down the Cataclysm, but he will get quickly bursted down by the Ari. And a lot of... Oh, he will flag and drag away, apparently, and he will survive, but the Orbit Deception does quickly take out the LeBlanc, and Blitzcrank is a bit of a bad spot, but he will try to exhaust the Jax, but the Ari is the one that they probably need to be worrying about. She's picking up a lot of kills, 7, 7, and 9 at this point. It's a very bloody game for her, with over 50 kills in 24 minutes. It's an extremely bloody game. So turning it a lot of kills focused onto the Ari and the Vi, but the red team will pick up their first dragon of the game, giving them that extra attack damage and AP as well.
Very interesting to see that the red team fought there and took out their Rammus and then the LeBlanc. You usually see people go after the LeBlanc in that case because of her assassination attempts. She can just melt people so quick, but it was a very good decision by them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting to see. They also got a drag off that, which was very good, and their minions also pushed into base and probably got a little bit of damage off onto the turret there.
And with the bottom inhibitor respawning for the blue team, they will have a bit of breathing room here, and the Rammus pushing in deep gets spotted out by the pink ward. The Piltover Peacemaker will kind of a slap on the wrist. It's like, no, but he will pick up the pink ward anyways. It's like, nah, I'm okay. That is a bit of a problem though with that Rammus building up quite quickly. It would be a bit of a trouble for the Caitlyn to take him out with the Thornmail passive on top of that, and they might be looking to start stacking some Thornmails maybe onto the Jarvan, but we have to put that on hold. So Blitzcrank quick does go down onto the Ari, but the damage the follow-up is not enough, and the Jarvan will go down as well as the Blitzcrank. So a bad engage picked by the blue team on that.
They could be setting up for Baron here. This is a very interesting
Powerball goes out trying to catch the Caitlyn, but she will 90 caliber net away, and the Rammus in a bit of a bad spot. He will pop the trimmers, but the Crescendo does go down and catches him as he's trying to go away, and that's a nice kill with 3 down. That's pretty much a Baron call right there. And there's not that much sniping potential on the blue team, so it looks like this is pretty secure. There's no wards on it, so they won't have a timer on it. And it's evaporating pretty quick with the damage from the Caitlyn and the Bloody Ruin King off the Jax. They will pick it up. And Baron for the red team. So it's quickly building into a very strong lead for them with a 4 tower advantage and a 4K gold and almost a 5K gold lead.
That was a beautiful idea of them roaming there to catch those players out to set up for that Baron. That was a very good idea.
The LeBlanc's in a bad spot with 4 players quickly collapsing. She does the double distortion, but it's not enough. And the Q will home in and ignore the clone. And Soda will pick up the kill. Her 4th of the game. 4, 5, and 10. Doing pretty good. A bit of an odd build. It's like... It's odd. Bit of a fight going down. Q does go down on the Blitzcrank, and he will fall. 11 kills on the Vi.
Red team utilizing their Baron very well here.
Most of the time you would want siege up, but honestly the siege potential out of the red team is not that strong, with just mainly the Caitlyn poke and the Ari poke, and the rest of it should be dedicated with the Jax split pushing. But they're trying to deny some objectives, but it does appear to backfire as the Jax will go down to the Jarvan Cataclysm. So that's 1 Baroned up member of the red team down for the count. And with the on the hunt popped, they might be able to get some more out of it. With the Ari popping all of the Spirit Rushes, trying to get away, she's very, very low. The Sivir will be able to pick it up with 1 auto attack, and the Vi, in a bit of a desperation, drops the Assault and Battery onto the Jarvan, and he's falling very low, and the Vi will be able to get it. Oh, the Sona picks up the kill onto the Rammus, and Vi in a bit of a spot here, but she's going to try and pick up a kill or 2 before she falls, but she will only get the Sivir. So a bit of a bad series of events for the red team. Only 1 Baroned up member left in the Caitlyn.
Beautiful assassination by LeBlanc there to take out that Sona. To take away that potential for a W sustain to save the Vi. That was very interesting to see LeBlanc. That was a good decision by her. I think red team could have utilized that Baron a lot easier. They could have easily went bot lane and took out that inhibitor without...
They could have with a Baroned up Jax, since they lost that, but a lot of split push pressure was lost on that. Like with the Jax, with the Jax split push combined with the Baroned up minions, that's a very, very strong, very high amount of pressure that's placed on that top lane or whatever lane he decides to split push on. But that's a lost opportunity. So with the lanes seem to be pushing in the red team's favor, as they do seem to be trying to roll down the middle lane with those Baron minions as long as they've got them. Baron shouldn't be that much longer of a timer, so that will be about to time out, and things will start to be even again. Jack's beginning with that split push in the top lane, and we'll see how far he manages to get off that. But it does seem that Jarvan will be coming up, and the Blitzcrank hook does go down and hooks the Vi. She does lose quite a bit of health, and the On the Hunt is popped as well. TP coming down from the Jax. The Assault Battery goes down onto the Sivir, but she does spell shield it away, and the Rammus will go down due to the Ahri. But the Vi will be able to pick up the kill in the end, and a double kill picked up by triple kill, sorry, by the Ahri. And Jarvan left to run with his tail between his legs, but it doesn't look like he might not be able to go down with the randoms popping on both sides. And he's kind of stuck in, and he will go down to the Vi, 14-7.
That was a beautiful play by Ahri there to use focus all her damage on those champions. And beautiful thing with Vi making the Sivir have to run away and worry about getting away instead of focusing her damage output where she's 11-8 with all of that IE and that static shiv. Her damage being taken away actually helped them win that fight completely. Every other team member besides LeBlanc was the only team members that really do any damage for the blue team would be LeBlanc and Sivir. And to separate Sivir from that fight was very interesting to see, and it's a very good play, very good decision by the red team.
And it looks like the red team will be able to pick up Dragon number 2 for the game, and blue team will take that turret, but it does look like another fight is going down. And they will be able to get away, but the Ahri goes in for the assassination, but runs into the Rammus Powerball and will be forced to pop the Zonya's Hourglass. The Jax does manage to pick him up in the end. The Charm just barely misses, but Ahri goes in with the Spirit Rush and doing monstrous damage with that Orb of Deception, blowing up the Sivir. And Jax running low on mana, may not be able to. Another Charm connects, and a double kill for the Ahri. Those Charms are on point.
Beautiful play by the Ahri, catching 2 people out there really easily just by landing that Charm.
And so with the siege going down onto the middle lane, the red team is quickly advancing and knocking on their Nexus, knocking on the Nexus turrets. It doesn't look like they'll have that much to answer. And the LeBlanc tries to dive in 1v4, and maybe not the smartest, bit of a desperation move coming out by that. The Powerball will connect onto the Jax, but that seems to be just all the time that they need to pick him off. About him with the Charm and the next moment. But it does look like sounds 3 members with the static field, but Jax quick.
Beautiful flashback. Lady carry there, Caitlyn.
Jumping out of the Cataclysm and locking up 3, forcing Jarvan to cancel that. So leaving a bit of leaving out the obstruction. And Val will turn onto the Jarvan, but will walk away. Another blue turret knocked down in the meantime, but it looks like there's a large wave pushing up on the top lane against the red team, so they might have to answer that. But in the meantime, it may not be that big of an issue, but the Vi is caught out, and she will go down to the LeBlanc burst. Try saying that 5 times fast.
It's interesting to see that, though, that they got 2 inhibs out of that, so their minions can be pushing, so that might be
and the Flash Spirit Rush out and does pick off the Blitzcrank very quickly. This Ahri is becoming an extreme problem for the blue team. A huge amount of threats on the red team. While we mentioned that they do not have a lot of tank, their damage is really strong and they have so many threats. Like, you can't really deny any of them. It's like, oh, we could just ignore this. You can't with this amount of damage. With the Vi going practical full damage with the Triforce, Maw of Malmortius, and the Jungler enchantment, and the Warrior enchantment, plus a Randuin's. She's going to be in those fights for a while, and Caitlyn hitting 3.5 items, plus the Berserker Greaves, is dealing a lot of damage and it appears to be sitting back in these fights. And starting up another Baron for the red team. Caitlyn just hammering away on this life stealing up rather quickly, so it appears that they will be fine. Not sure if they will be able to take this. Yeah, they'll be able to take this with the amount of lifesteal that Kayla's putting out. Combined with the Sona heals, but the rest of the team will rotate down and help secure the Baron. And that is Baron number 2 for the red team.
That was a very good decision by the red team to take Baron there, as their minions were pushing into the base with those super minions. Now to see that Baron buff with those super minions will be a potential end to this game, unless blue team can play it smart.
And now blue team caught on the wrong side of the map, it appears like, with 3 of them caught out with the Sivir, the Blitzcrank, and the Jarvan caught out. It looks like they might be able to make something happen as they're recalling, and it's only... Oh, that was very close by the Rammus, just barely getting away in time and recall. But the flash crescendo picking up, hitting the LeBlanc, but nothing really happening out of it. And Vi's quickly caught up into all 4 of them. That is, you see, she's not going down. And this might be the last fight. Oh, and then Ahri will fall to the LeBlanc, but with the heal advantage, but they have 2 waves of super minions pushing in, and both of their Nexus turrets are gone. Sona will go down to the Rammus, but in this 3 kills for the blue team. But with so many minions pushing in, this might be game. With the Jax, if they we could have had a ward drop down and Jax could have teleported into the game. That would have been cool to see. But it's whatever. This is just pretty much inevitable. It's just going to happen. They just, next push, they should be able to get this unless some...
Jax did back and get away with that Baron buff, so he could potentially teleport to a minion and try to end on his own.
He could, yes. With those Baroned up super minions, that could be a very, very... That would probably end the game pretty much.
He has to play smart, though. He has to do it when all of the blue team is pushed out, and they're completely focused on trying to take an objective.
Well, with an exposed Nexus, it would be really bad to try and do that without having anyone stayed in the stationed in the base, clearing out the super minions. So with the blue team in a bit of a scramble, there's not really all that much that they can do at this point. They're pretty much strangled out. There's wards in their jungle, so they're being caught out there. They have super minions pushing, and it's just an all-around bad situation. It doesn't look like it's going to be getting any better for them. This is just pretty much inevitable, just when it's going to happen, whenever they start this next push. But with Dragon coming up in 30 seconds, that might just be the impetus that the red team needs to just finally close out this game. So this, if they do pick that up, that will be Dragon number 3. Oh, but the Sona is caught out, but she is also not going, but she is hooked and she's quickly blown up. So that is not the best situation for them, but the Orb of Deception will get both ticks onto the Rammus and chunk them down to about half health. And Ahri pretty much gets away with it. No real repercussion for coming in that close, and the Rammus landing the taunt, so not much follow-up onto the from the blue team. And red team will be rotating around and picking up the Dragon number 3, giving them that increased movement speed buff.
Interesting pull there by Blitz. It was very good by him. Pull that Sona. She got a little too close. It was a good play by the blue team there, making the red team be forced to back off. If the red team would have caught them out, that would have been interesting to see.
Oh, and there's the Ahri going in, lands the charm onto the Rammus, and Jax jumps in, but Jarvan will knock up the Ahri, and the Ahri is diving around, hits by the taunt. The Chilling Smite does go down, and she forces the Zonias. She will Spirit Rush away, and will pick up the Rammus and dives back in, but lands into the Cataclysm. And Jax will tank that, and the Foxfires do go down, do cause Jarvan to go down, but Ahri might go down here. No, triple kill for the Ahri. Very well played.
Very well played by using her passive. And stacking that spell vamp and using her Q and her W as the spell vamp to get the health back.
Yes.
To keep her alive.
So with the top tier 1 red turret, that's all that they have going for them. It's just the push that's going up in the top lane. But Ahri will quickly put an end to that, and they are hammering away at the Nexus, so we won't even have to worry about that. Jax is quickly hitting away, and that will be GG for the red team. So very well played, and extremely dangerous comp put together by the red team there.
Very good choice by the red team to pick the champions that they did and the play style that they're all used to. They're used to seeing from each other. It's good to see them correlate well with those champions that they picked.
It would have been nice to see the Jack split push a little bit more, though. Honestly,
It would have. I have to agree there. I think that game could have been ended potentially a lot sooner.
A lot sooner, probably around the time that they picked up that first Baron buff.
We're gonna switch Owen. You're gonna come back downstairs and toss Francis is gonna come up. Just a little bit. Hey, you're fine.
Okay.
You're still technically recording.
Okay. Well, we will be taking a quick break in the moment as we are switching out casters. I will be remaining here, but I have enjoyed casting with Perineum here, and we'll see you around. And we will be welcoming in another one in just a few moments. So bear with us as we take a short break, and we'll be back with more League of Legends in just a few moments. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for waiting. I'm sure that was absolutely terrible having to sit here through all of this quiet. We don't really have that much going on. Well,
Not really,
six
no.
of you out here. So I'll go ahead and you can go ahead and introduce yourself, my new shoutcaster buddy, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and just introduce yourself.
My name's Thomas, and my summoner name we'll find on Ton Hollows, I guess.
All right. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting on, we'll be watching the alternate UPIKE team, UPIKE Oranges. UPIKE
Yes.
Orange? Okay, we'll be
Orange.
watching UPIKE Orange games for now. So we've been watching UPIKE Black. We'll begin watching UPIKE Orange. So, while we're waiting on that to be queued up. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought you were going with someone.
Yeah, I kind of was.
You were
but
going somewhere, man.
The train kind of just derailed a little bit. Kind of fell off.
What do you
So-
think about the new Vigor
The
stacking
new Vegas
method?
stuff? I have not got to play it.
All right.
Is not I've not got to finish my patch notes. I got out of class at like 3 o'clock or something. I mean, like 4 o'clock, and I haven't got a chance to.
Well, it's Q. It's no longer a point and click.
Yeah, I saw the patch notes. I don't.
I thought you
really
said you
know
didn't finish them.
I haven't got done patching it, but I know what it does. I haven't got to
yeah.
try it out yet, though.
It's.
Do you like it?
I haven't actually. I just walked by, saw someone doing that. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Potential for twice as much stack.
Oh yeah,
But
if you can land those skill shots, that'd be be pretty dangerous.
It reminds me of Lulu, like how she has that pixie with all of her auto
Pix?
attacks. Pix, yeah.
So is that what the skill shot is? Kind of like what? The
Yeah, there
double
are
arrow?
2.
So it doesn't work like a double up or anything like that.
If you hit both targets, you get both stacks.
Yeah. So it kind of so it doesn't work like a misfortune double up where it like hits one and then hits the one behind it. Instead, it's like 2 skill shots.
It's like 2 skill shots, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So we'll see how that plays up. We've been talking about some of the other
Like-
things that have been recently coming out.
Yeah.
The addition of Bard coming up on the PvE.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Bard.
Bard will be fun.
Play some.
Have you looked at? I'm sure you've looked at the kit. You're a support.
Oh
player.
yeah, I definitely looked at the kit. Just being able to place that health, whatever you want to call it, health pack.
Yeah, the celestial shrines will be pretty interesting. Have like little.
That would help the jungler out so much since he has to roam so much.
Mhm.
Just walk by, place
having,
one behind the mid
having the
turret.
double run will be interesting.
Yeah.
Making some plays off that. Some of the things that you could do with Bard, I've played a couple PvE matches with him. Pretty
Oh,
interesting
really?
what you could do off of it.
Yeah.
I think if for those of you that are still here, I mentioned this earlier with Bard. If you're on red side, that little intersection, that little curve on top lane, you can
Yeah.
throw a portal and it will throw you behind the blue side turret, and you can like have your entire team funnel through there and just tower dive on the guy, so he doesn't really have that much.
Can't
going.
you do
can
the-
pinch through?
Same thing, red side but bot lane.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so like those portals will make will make for some really interesting plays. It's like I just see in spam chat. It's like, yo, we thinking with portals now. So
I left my water bottle in the other room.
you can pick that up. I can sit here and entertain the masses
You
here.
better entertain the most masses, bro.
All right. Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but elevator music would be really nice. We might need to put that on the list of some things we need to add to this stream. Elevator music or some kind of waiting music. I don't know. In between these matches while we're waiting on queues. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would agree.
Just like some nice little. You know what? We could take some questions from Twitch chat at the time. So all like 7 or 8 of you out there in Twitch chat land,
All 7 or 8.
shoot us some questions. Nothing too crazy though, and so we can try and kill some time here. One person asked if you had it says, nice pun by the way. Has Ton Hollows had the time to play with Zillion since his new update? I know how you love your Zillion.
I've actually not been able to play Zillion at all this past new ranked season, and it's killing me. Just the other day, I thought about doing it, but then I realized, oh wait, they're gonna change him tomorrow.
I think the change. I've run into a zillion or two since the changes. I like them.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ran to a Zillion the other day. It was the same thing, but the update hadn't happened, so he was still annoying as crap.
Well, I think it's honestly just a giant buff to him with the double clocks. I mean, you already do that. Like they pick. I mean, if you throw them right on top of him, it's still going to land like it normally does. So adding a stun on top of the Q combo,
Yeah.
you still get the stun off that. So I think it's
Stun?
a really strong buff. Yeah, if you throw one bomb on them and then you rewind the bomb
And then
and then toss another bomb on top of it, the first one will pop and stun. Now,
all right, that is.
there's a lot. They put a lot of extra damage into his kit.
And if I kill the target with the double, does the stun just nothing happen?
I think it's an AoE stun now that I think about it. I'm not sure.
Could be an AoE.
I think it is.
Actually, that might be a little OP because think about a late game just bombing a minion instead, getting that AoE stun off. Either way, he's gonna be broken.
We'll have to see. I don't know if he'll rage back onto into the professional scene as the top tier support.
As soon as
Then
they
again,
took
he
out
wasn't
that
really, but he was picked.
that global passive nerf though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of, but they got rid of all the global passes. So
But you gotta admit, every jungler loved seeing a Zillion on their team.
yes, well, most people enjoyed seeing a zillion at some point. The chrono shifts were nice.
Especially if they know how to use the ult. The one yesterday didn't use it at all.
I don't know how much you played Caston, but we also, with me and Pretium talking earlier, we were talking about how about the giant Caston nerfs coming in and how that was going to affect him. Did you see where they cut his ult range practically in half? So where it's like practically a flash now instead of like that giant screen closing.
I feel
Rift walk.
like no nerf is strong enough for Kassadin.
You think?
He is a very OP champ. He's just not played as much as. If he's going against a mage target, I'd say
Well, that's kind of it. That's
That's the only point.
He is the anti-mage.
he is.
Release
Hey, Viger's a pretty good anti-mage.
Vigar and Caston are the definition of anti-mage.
What happens if we put them together? Kassadin would win.
It depends. Honestly, it just depends on the skill of the player.
Well, there's no way Viger's going to land his stun.
I think that he might be able to, but well, enough talking about about theoreticals and things like that. We're going to get too carried away. So
Ain't that the truth?
we will go ahead. I will be right back and check and see how the queue is going along and see if we have a spectate ready, and then we will get into that. So I don't know. I'll see, and we'll be right back.
So I guess it leaves me here. All right. Well, for those who do not know, I am a member of the UPIKE. I think it's orange. Whatever team we're about to watch, I'm not too sure about that. Not pretty good. I'm pretty sure it's. Actually, no, I'm not pretty sure at all. I'm not gonna lie. And my phone is in the other room. What game are we about to watch? Black or orange? Well, if you heard that, they are currently in Champion Select.
Mm-hmm.
Is this orange or black playing next?
I think it's orange.
All right, then I am on the orange team. I'm not for sure. I just know I'm on whatever team's playing next.
Then how are you here? Are you like playing as well as you're shoutcasting as well? So you're like from
No,
the future
I'm
speaking
not.
like 3 minutes in reverse. It's like you see all these plays happening. You're just like, oh wait, I knew you would do that because you're playing Zillion.
Yeah, I can time it that well.
Wait, then that would be reverse. This is what happens when you get bored, people. I'm sorry.
When he gets bored, people.
We're trying to kill time.
Just use a Zillion. I thought you were about to like do something, but no.
So the spectate timer should be elapsing pretty soon, and we'll be able to see what comps being picked for the teams, who will be playing, and all the specifics. So before we get launched into some more wonderful games of League of Legends.
Doesn't typically the spectate timer happen after the champions have been selected?
Yeah, after champion select is elapsed, there's a spectate delay, and then you can begin joining everything.
Like, I thought you watch champ select live, and
I
then
think you can, but the spectate...
and then the spectate delay.
Yeah, there's
kicks
a
in.
spectate delay after the champ select, so...
So we're just waiting for the spectate delay to go away, and then we're gonna spectate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
We say that, and then the champion select's gonna be over, and we're gonna get another 3-minute wait, and we're gonna have no clue what happened. So who would you say the most OP champion right now is?
Most OP champion?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to say.
Overall.
In the hands of a really good player, I think that Callista is probably one of the stronger ones. But, look, I may not be qualified. I mean, I'm just silver. I'm just silver. I don't know, honestly. But I think I've seen what Callistas can do. I've seen sneaky 1v5. I've seen sneaky, like, 1v4, 1v5 entire teams. It just melt them, not even, like, letting them touch.
Just with her kite ability, it's just...
The kiting ability is extremely strong.
I think the best, in my opinion, what would be a good way to try and nerf that is make each dash cost a bit of mana.
That would be too much, I think. It's in her passive, so it really it shouldn't cost resources to utilize your passive.
It's just
They did actually nerf it in this patch though. They made it to where her the wind up on her auto attacks is decreased. So like,
oh, I just heard
we
that.
have music. So as soon as we can get the camera fixed, we will be getting champ select, and we already have everything going. So
All right.
we have UPIKE will be playing on blue side. We have Rumble in the top lane, Zareth in the mid, a jungle Wukong, and then a Sivir and Blitzcrank bottom lane.
And
Playing up against. Oh, you can take it if you want.
No, I was just gonna notice how we don't know what champions were banned there.
That is true. Well, we're not in professional LCS level just yet, so it's just solo queue-esque bans. So we have Ryze in the top lane, a Caitlyn AD carry, a jungle Tryndamere, Karma support, and Swain mid. So this will be interesting.
They're definitely gonna need magic resist for this one.
Well, it depends. Magic resist is definitely a must, but if the Tryndamere and Caitlyn gets rolling, it's going to be really hard to atomize against that because the damage that they can pour out is extreme.
Yeah.
Especially whenever this hits late game. That's a time bomb team if I've ever seen one. Maybe toss in maybe like a Tristana or something else like that.
What is it?
And maybe instead of the Caitlyn, and that is the practical definition of a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Ryze will continue to get scary as he begins to stack up mana. Caitlyn, whenever she hits late game, is extremely strong after she hits like those. She's strong and early, dips a little bit in mid game, and then spikes up huge after she picks up about 4 or 5 items. Tryndamere as well. Karma will be doing damage as well, depending on her itemization. With a lot of AP, Karma burst is extreme.
Yeah.
And most people don't anticipate that. It's the same thing with the Swain. I think that where Swain isn't seen as much, it's kind of, you're definitely going to underestimate it to some extent, because Swain, the sustain damage coming out of Swain is just ridiculous, with the damage and as well coming out of the E.
I would also like to point out that Walaris, the Z-Wraith, he's actually a top lane main, which is kind of interesting for me. Well, I actually know their main, so.
Okay.
And I believe Window Clown is typically jungle for him.
So they're switching up.
They're switching something up.
Interesting. So I think that this will be interesting. Overall, we'll see how everything goes.
This will be my first game watching. Is that Persian? Perineum.
It's Perineum.
Perineum. Yes.
For those of you watching, that was the fellow that was shotcasting with me the previous 2 games. So we will see him in action, see if he can channel his inner mad life and help carry UPIKE to victory in this one. So
Lord knows I couldn't. Not gonna lie, those last 2 games were not my proudest.
Okay, so the spectate timer has counted down, and we are now loading in.
So we get out of a wait into another wait.
Mm-hmm. So some other things that we should talk about at the moment. How do you think that these lanes will come out? How do you think that they will shuffle out?
Let's see.
Looking at we'll start with bottom lane. If we look at this just from a purely statistical point, like just not even accounting for player skill or anything, the Caitlyn should be able to really bully out the Sivir.
Unless Blitzcrank can grab a good grab.
Blitzcrank does shift a lot.
Because they do have
matches.
a very squishy bot lane.
They have a very squishy team overall, because most likely that Wukong will be... The temptation to build a lot of damage on Wukong is extremely strong due to the ridiculous scaling on his ult. But we'll see if he can overcome that temptation, because right now, if they get dived, they're all extremely squishy team. It's an extremely squishy team. Rumble will be iffy on tank. He'll be most of his tank will be coming out of the Zhonya's Hourglass and the Leandri's Torment, which is some, but it's not excessive.
Yep.
He'll be an issue, but that will probably be it in terms of a tank front line. Meanwhile, on the other side, we'll have a potential 2 Rod of Ages stacking with Seraph's Embrace, and it will be very hard for them to burst them down.
I'm just going to say that Blitzcrank and Sivir bot may want to be aggressive, because those are both they're up against 2 very big poke-based champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the poke coming out of that bottom lane will be excessive, will be really strong. But the burst... So
they got more burst, though.
On the converse, you do have a lot of burst coming out of the Sivir and the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, which is...
So we will see...
Typically you see poke beating burst, but if they play aggressive and keep them... Zone them out, really.
Yes, it'll just be... Never know, really. I mean, people have said, like, oh, yeah, this person's been counterpicked. They'll win, for sure. And then something will happen, and you're just like, whoa, what the heck just happened here? I just got beat by what should have been, like, a super easy win, but you have to account for jungling. You have to account for jungler presence and just some early game shenanigans up there in the top lane by them. No, nothing really, in terms of, like, real shenanigans, nothing really is happening that much right now. Just
there's very little vision on the enemy trying to...
Well,
typically you see a couple wards in the enemy.
I guess they just didn't want to take the gamble with it, so we'll see. A couple traps laid out into
couple. All 3 of them are laid out.
3, yes.
Yeah.
So that might catch them by surprise and be able to get some really nice poke down. So as jungle camps begin to spawn and lanes begin to fold out, Smite will go down and will pick up the gift of heavy hands for the Wukong. Candle Pulse will come out, but does not hit it. Does not hit the Swain, so nothing too crazy happening just yet. It should just be relatively chill. I don't really see a whole lot of early game kill potential coming out from either of these solo lanes right now.
Not at all, really. Unless that Wukong or Tryndamere decides to do something pretty bold.
Yeah. Yeah, jungler presence would definitely factor into it, but I think that the powder keg for this game is definitely going to be in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
So, lays down another trap, canceling out the 3. The Flame Spitter will go down, trying to chunk down the Minion Wave, and they will be going back and forth, but looks like the Xerath gets...
Xerath's getting poked down.
The Xerath is getting the worser end of that trade there. And the hook does go down onto Karma, but has to dive around the Soulfire, so...
You got some pretty even poke going on top lane.
Top is beginning to even out very well, yes. The Rumble holding a +2, the more sustained damage.
There's the snare.
Hold down, and it might be first blood. Yep. Yes, the Ignite will be enough, and Swain will pick up first blood. And as soon as I say that, more damage coming down, and the Rumble is in a bit of a bind here at the moment. But drop down, and he will jump in, drop down the Q, and he'll be back and the Rumble will pick up the kill. Very nice.
That was nice.
So, the Rot is burning. The Flash is very nice, so that means the summer advantage will be going towards UPIKE.
Did you see if Rumble flashed also?
No, the Rumble did not flash.
He did not flash.
So both summoners burnt by the Swain, and Rise just used his TP to come back into lane, so both summoners down for the solo lanes on the red team. So we're not really seeing that much coming out from either of these, from either side on the bottom lane. Just a little bit of poke here and there. Boomerang Blades doing a little bit.
He's getting a bit of a lead on farm,
under
really.
farming under turret pretty well by the Sivir.
15-25.
Well, that's kind of expected in that lane.
Yeah.
And the Mantra Q comes out, does a little bit of damage onto the Caitlyn. Zayre throwing down a little bit of poke as well. So with Rice picking up his Tear of the Goddess, he'll begin stacking that up to where he could become that late game carry that everybody loves and fears. Kind of miss Rice in the competitive meta. I enjoyed seeing Rice a lot.
Not when I'm playing Fizz. I hate seeing Rice.
Yeah, Rice is a very heavy counter.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way the other day in a ranked game.
And looks to be making some plays, but the camera will decide to continue shifting.
Yeah.
Rumble will hit the danger zone, so no spells for him. And does look like the Wukong is trying to make a play. He'll go in on the Q, but does not get anything out of it since he has no summoners to burn. But he did pop it, but the Wukong did pop his flash for that.
Yeah.
So it's enough to force the Swain out of lane, giving the Xerath some time to free farm. But a lot of poke put down onto the one auto attack shy, and Rumble would have fallen. So bit of a bad spot for him. A trap Blitzcrank hits the trap. The Mantra Q will come down, chunk down the Sivir just a little bit, and the Rumble decides to stay. But with the wave pushing down, the Rise might have the chance. He is going in for the dive, but Rumble decides to turn on with a Flame Spitter. The hook barely misses by the Blitzcrank, and it's just a flurry of things thanks to this directed camera. But
yeah, it is.
I think that they've said that in the future we will get like an actual camera operator. We will have to do it or something like that.
That would be lovely. Just saying. And there's the snare.
And there's some sustained damage, and it looks like Xerath once again getting out-traded by the Swain. Hitting at 6 minutes. They're actually staying, well, Swain having an 8 CS advantage and picking up that blasting one. He's dealing a lot of damage compared to the Xerath's Doran's Ring. And with both top laners low, whenever Rumble hits level 6, he might be able to pick off a kill, but here comes in the Wukong, and he will pick up the kill. And very well played.
And Rumble still gets the assist goal for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was just no warding, and it's kind of hard to, you can't really anticipate it. You're low.
There's hardly any warding by the red
There is
team.
no wards up there.
Yeah.
So the warding on both teams should be priority. I mean, you have the Trinket Ward, so his Trinket Ward was actually on cooldown. I know that I look. So Rumble should be able to back up. He picks up a Blasting Wand instead of completing the Haunting guys, which is an interesting build. Maybe he's going, I'm not sure what he's building.
No clue.
But
picking
with
up a
Raz
ward,
building towards the Catalyst the Protector building towards that Rod of Ages, so he's getting his stacking items rather early. But the Rod of Ages is quite a ways away.
And it looks like a dragon's about to happen here.
Rotating towards Dragon. They already have it started down to about 2,500
Blue team is
HP.
not going to be able to contest that.
They do not have any wards, so they don't know that it's really going on, except for the
It looks like they have a feeling because you see them slowly coming towards them.
Yeah, so they might be able to try and get a catch here, but the tether does go down, and Wukong does jump onto the Caitlyn, but not that much comes out of it.
She gets
The
pretty
Mantra
decent
Q
burst.
does some damage, and top lane just continues to be a farm fest with it's a 3 CS differential, so it's not that much. But with the kill gold compared to the Rumble has a bit of an advantage in this situation.
Can I point out the farm difference between the Kate and the Sivir?
Yeah, go ahead. Just
I'm
anytime you have.
Just saying, it's 58-35.
Yeah, 13. Well, that's kind of expected with the bully lane like that, but the Caitlyn is yet to go back, so she might be sitting. It might be sitting on some gold, but right now Sivir does have the advantage having that pickaxe over the pickaxe and the potions.
It's a question if they
to just Caitlyn's Doran's Blade. But he gets the hook onto it, but he's sitting inside the Karma Trap. But
directed camera.
Well, nothing came out of it, or the camera wouldn't have shifted away. So the ace in the hole is popped. And
Was
Sivir
it blocked by Sivir?
Yeah, Sivir did tank the ace.
All right, just life.
That would be my guess.
Does she have any steal up? No.
She has the probably last steal off runes, and then
That would
off
be
the
my
Dorn-
best guess.
the Doran's rune as well.
Or she took one of her
Snare-
potions.
Zeth caught out by the snare once again, but he does land the stun and making the Swain tank a couple turret shots for his troubles. So, not too good on his part.
Caitlyn finally backing.
If I'm back, she will probably might have enough gold. Yes, she does have enough for the BF
It's the
sword,
best
so
friend
that is
sword.
a lot.
And boots.
And a pair of boots, and as well as a couple extra health pots
And a pink ward.
to keep off the Wukong games. So we haven't not seen that much come out of the Tryndamere. It seems that he's just power farming, and he might actually. We haven't seen any items coming out of him besides the Stalker's Blade, so he will probably be going forward for the Devourer's enchantment if I had to guess. He just backed up. I think. No, he's still power farming. I see that extra health potion in his inventory. So things beginning to even out with a nice push onto the bottom lane. Kind of halfway into the top.
We got both bot lanes now have their ultimates on both sides.
Yeah, as these level 6s begin to come out, we'll be able to see maybe see some plays made. We'll see.
And the Swain taking blue buff.
Swain taking blue buff. He needs to pick up a mana item at some point because right now he is kind of struggling with his mana uptake.
And Rise going in.
Raz appears
Will
to
he
be
back
going
out
in, but
again?
I don't think that is.
He's
the
not very
smartest
confident
idea.
about it.
Rumble does have the equalizer, so and the equalizer is dropped, but is put in the wrong direction, and he will go down. If the equalizer would have been placed
Yeah.
the other way, and he does
And
flash.
Tryndamere goes.
The Tryndamere does take a tough
And,
couple shots, and he
oh.
does go down. Does not pop the Undying Rage.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting that Zero to burst him down that much instantaneously either.
Well, the Zareth did just back and pick. Well, he picked up an Amp Tome and a Forbidden Idol as well. So he
And
will
we
be
got a
building
Wukong
towards that.
dive.
The Wukong is going to attempt to dive, and he's very low, using the decoy
And oh,
attack, so nothing will come out of that. Zareth hit once again by that snare, and he will go down to the birds from Swain.
I've never actually
And-
played Swain.
Swain's odd,
He does seem odd.
but with a nice push going down into bot lane against the blue team, but thanks to the ricochet of Sivir, we go down pretty quick. But a lot of pressure being put down onto this mid turret, and Tryndamere shows up into top followed by the TP of Rise. The Chilling Smite will go down,
Flash
forcing
away.
Rumble to flash, and he will drop the Electro Harpoons, trying to slow him down, and he will manage to walk away from it. It looks like Rumble might be trying to go on the offensive, but Wukong is busy taking the blue buff. And he does pick up the blue and not giving it off to the Zareth, which might cause some trouble later on, because Zareth's mana consumption is pretty strong if he is pouring out those spells like most Zareths tend to do. So that blue buff will slow down his wave clear and his poke by quite a lot. But you're Wukong. And once again caught out by the snare, a lot of damage coming out, and he's just so squishy. So the Zareth will probably have to back off of that. But building towards that Morellonomicon, which is actually a very nice thing to go up against a Swain due to the amount of regen that he has off of his ult. So having the Morellonomicon and applying those Grievous wounds, but we can't talk about that. Wukong has come in and popped the Cyclone, puts down a lot of damage onto the Karma, and the Blitzcrank hook does secure the kill with the hook, as Sivir, being a team player, will tank the ace in the hole.
I'm not quite sure if she needed to do that, but
Probably did. Wukong was rather low and misses the equalizer, but
Again.
it does look like she will be able to take down the Swain. Swain is out of
Possibly.
escape, so it's just a matter of time, and Rumble
Yes.
does pick up the kill. So while we're waiting on things to equalize or something to happen, Tryndamere waiting in the wings. It looks like he might be able to attempt to make something happen, but the Blitzcrank hook does connect and drop into tower range, and the Undying
the silence
Rage
was a bit
but
too.
the Undying Rage just popped and a spin, and he had to pop his flash as well. So that was a lot to get away from that. I think the Undying Rage and the spinning slash would have been enough, but I suppose that you can never be too
Rather
safe.
safe than sorry.
That is true.
Blitzcrank tried to get that silence out before, and Dying Rage would pop, but
So Zareth's got the wave pushed up, and then he will back up
Have we
that
seen?
should give him enough time to back safely without putting too much pressure onto his own turret, or he might just stay.
Have we seen any damage done to the bot lane, the red side turret?
I'm not sure. We'll have to look whenever the camera comes around. But
Most of this
so
game
just
seems
the
to be.
supports at this point, just going back and forth. Karma throwing down the Qs. Soul flares. It's been so long since I played Karma.
And
But
there's
it
the
does look like
second
Tryndamere
dragon.
will be attempting to solo the dragon, but he doesn't have any lifesteal, so I don't think that he be able to pick it up. He does have the passive, but
It's like
Karma
Wukong is onto it.
does show up as well. But Wukong's catching scent to this, but will he show up in time to smite it away? And he will not. No vision on the dragon, so he might have just been coming around bot side. But that is 2 dragons now for the red team.
Wukong's ward was down, so he had no way of placing that ward down.
They will notice pretty soon that they do now